It's good to see you again, and it's great to see some new faces. Today we delve into the story of Canada's sadistic serial killer who was dubbed the Monster of Miramichi. It was the horrors in the town of Miramichi that earned Alan Joseph Legere the name the Monster of Miramichi. He's a Canadian who indecently assaulted and killed numerous men and women, an arsonist and a serial killer. Born on a frigid February night in 1948 in Chatham, New Brunswick, Legere fought his way into the world. He grew up in a dysfunctional family who not only abused him but also neglected him. As he grew older, he showed signs of violence and criminal behavior. He had a string of convictions by the time he reached his 20s. Fast forward to the 21st of June, 1986. It was a warm evening when the first screams echoed through the quiet streets of Black River Bridge in New Brunswick. Legere, alongside his cohorts Todd Matchet and Scott Curtis, descended upon a convenience store that was owned by an elderly couple. Quietly, they broke into the store and cut the power, plunging the store into darkness. But the darkness only seemed to fuel their lust for violence. Within the store's walls, the Glendenning couple were beaten with rods, pipes, and fists till their bones cracked, all the while Legere, Matchet, and Curtis laughed and poked fun at them. Mary was indecently assaulted by the trio. John and Mary Glendenning faced a terror beyond comprehension as Legere's violence rained down upon the couple. The crack of bones, the taste of blood, and the violation of innocence tainted the air as Legere and his companions unleashed their evil. After beating and violating Mary, the trio then beat John to death and fled the scene. But amidst the chaos, Mary Glendenning clung to life, her will unbroken, even as her husband lay lifeless beside her. With trembling hands and a heart heavy with grief, she crawled up the stairs, reached for the phone, and dialed 911. The hunt was swift, and the criminals were tracked down and arrested. Matchet's confession painted a grim picture of the horrors unleashed that night. Curtis and Legere found themselves shackled by the chains of justice, their fate sealed by the damning evidence stacked against them. Matchet pleaded guilty to murdering John and beating Mary. The other two were found guilty at the trial. Yet even behind bars, Legere's thirst for chaos remained unquenched. He plotted his escape with meticulous precision. While he was being transported from the Atlantic Institution Maximum Security Penitentiary to the Dr. Georges L. Dumont Hospital for an ear infection he had picked up, he convinced the guards to let him use the bathroom unattended. Concealing a weapon in his rectum, he orchestrated his flight from captivity, leaving chaos and death in his wake. He picked the lock on his handcuffs, held the guards at bay, and escaped by hijacking a car. He wasn't captured for a while. 7 months of darkness descended upon Miramichi as Legere roamed free. In his wake, he left a trail of broken bodies and shattered lives. 4 more bodies turned up in and around town. First, he murdered Annie Flam on the 29th of May, 1989. He also assaulted Annie's sister. Then, October 13, 1989, he assaulted 2 sisters, Donna and Linda Downey, and after he was done, he set fire to the Downeys' home. Next came Father James Smith on the 16th of November, 1989. But even the most cunning predator meets their match. Cornered and desperate, Legere's reign of terror came to a crashing halt, his dreams of freedom dashed upon the rocks of justice. After a failed carjacking attempt and a reward of $50,000 for his arrest, he was recaptured on the 24th of November, 1989. He was convicted on charges of his escape in August 1990, and an additional 9 years were added to his sentence. Legere applied for a day parole, but the folks of Miramichi weren't having this. At his parole hearing in January 2021, his request was denied. In the years that followed, Legere's name became synonymous with fear and despair. The scars he left upon Miramichi ran deep. And as the years passed, and the memories of his atrocities faded into history, one question remained in the minds of the townsfolk. Would the monster of Miramichi rise again?